Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. I apologise for that. This is obviously part of the Lutron Homeworks series, which I'm kind of doing. This is the part 1 of basic programming. It's been a while. I'm really sorry about that. I've been busy with other things. I've posted a few other videos in between. As always, I will try to be a bit more frequent with my uploads. But we'll see how that goes. Obviously don't forget to subscribe, and if you click the bell, then you will be notified whenever I post a new video. So I've had some quite good feedback about the Lutron programming that I've been doing online. I mean, Lutron is obviously a fantastic product, very popular, and it's one of those pieces of equipment, one of those smart home products that professionals use that just works. It's almost the top of its game, I'd like to say. Lutron is really at the top of the game with comparing lighting control systems. Very robust. And in the quite a long few years I've been using it, we've not really had any failures, and failures that we have had is really due to installation errors, possible short circuits, although even then the equipment is very tough, so it's not susceptible to shorting issues or wiring issues, but that's really the only issues that I've ever really had. So where were we during our last video? I'm just trying to think. We've obviously got all of our rooms set up here. I've done a separate video actually on engraving, so I'm not going to go too much into the engraving part of it. You can see I did kind of touch on it last time, didn't I? What have we got in the lounge here? Oh, we've just actually entered one control switch here at the moment in the lounge. So let's add some more switches. It's as easy as click. I mean, you've seen the whole toolbox part on the last video, where you can select your keypads in your project with various buttons, various plate finishes, etc, etc. So let's just add some buttons into the other rooms. The kitchen, I might just do a 6 button in there. First floor landing, just a 3 button. Master bedroom, probably a 6 in there. Master bed ensuite, bedroom 2, bathroom. Okay, now what I try and do actually, can't quite remember if I touched on this during my last video, but I do tend to not put too many buttons really on plates, because it can just confuse the customer, to be fair. So in an area such as the landing, you might really only just need, if I click on properties, you might only really need 3 buttons, and they might well be bright, soft, and off. That may well be all you need. I mean, what else do you need to do on a landing? Soft maybe could be replaced with chandelier, where you've got a nice chandelier and there are some supplementary downlights or some other lighting, where bright can bring everything on. Chandelier will turn off or lower the downlights and emphasize the chandelier. That's really all you need. I mean, I do go to projects sometimes where they have 10 button plates, and if you look at a 10 button plate, how confusing is this? What can you actually add on here? An example of a project that I've been to not too long ago that I was not involved in, but we've subsequently been involved in. They've used a feature which is for pathways, which is a great feature. So for instance, you can press a button. It could be let's have a look. Let's go to engraving here. So you might have bed path maybe. So this could be in the kitchen. So you think, right, I'm going to bed, I'll switch all the lights off. So you might have a good night button or something like that, or a goodbye button on your plate, where you would normally just switch all of the lights off if you're going out. You could press that button, switch everything off, and then press the bed path, and it would literally give you a path, a route. So corridors, stairs, and then to your bedroom, just like those areas, which you can subsequently switch off when you get to the bedroom. There'll be another switch control off. But it's all very nice, but sometimes I wonder if you really need that kind of intricacy. But you can overcomplicate things. So what I tend to do is, for a landing example, 3 buttons is more than enough. So we'll just set that to bright chandelier and off. Entrance hall here, see, obviously I've put, you can just make out here, and we have welcome, goodbye outside. That's a good use of a keypad there. Okay, so from here, obviously you would normally have an equipment rack. So what we'll make the equipment rack on the, if we go to the ground floor, it's at a room, and we'll call it equipment cupboard. I don't think I've added equipment, have I? Have I done equipment? No, I haven't added any equipment. So in the equipment cupboard, general equipment you will have would be, we're going to have to go back to our toolbox here. So to begin a homework system, the very minimum you need is a processor. And when you're designing your project, you do need to use a panel for your processor. So I shall use a, what we'll do here, maybe we use a Dpm panel because they are quite nice. So if I use so this is a Dpm panel, which basically is DIN rail panel for the DIN rail modules, which are commonly used now rather than the old RPMs, which look like, where are the RPMs on here? There's the DIN rail modules there, you can see. 0, 10, switching, motor, adaptive, phase dimming, Dali, and EK, which is another kind of Dali version, but Lutron's version. So yeah, an RPM looks, well, we're not going to have them in here, are we? But it looks, no, I can't quite see them on here. Anyway, so let's add this panel onto our project. So if I click add, so there's our panel here, and at the bottom you'll find on all of these plus marks you can add devices. So at the bottom here, this is a general location for a processor, which is the HQP6-2. So we shall add one of those. You might well need a input-output module for interfacing with third-party equipment, or a DMX module for DMX color change lighting, for example. So there's other space in these panels for that. And then you also have a section here for the wire landing boards, which you would generally use to connect your QS bus cables to. Just a nice kind of set of connectors there where you can unplug and plug your QS bus cables. Now the rest of these sections here are obviously reserved for modules. So we shall add one of each. So if I go for a DIN rail module, which is a adaptive phase dimmer, we shall put in a 0 to 10 module. We shall also add a 10 amp switching module. A quick thing on the switching modules, if I go to edit toolbox again, if I click on a switching module, you will see that you have options for switching modules. Actually, this is an old version of software, so as you can see here, there is a 1 amp version of a switching module, LQSE 4S1-D. That has actually now been discontinued. 1 amps was a little bit kind of pointless, really, in a way, because there's very few situations that you would just need 1 amps of loading allowance. I mean, maybe for bedside lamps and things like that, it's quite handy to just use those outputs for bedside lamps. I mean, I have used quite a few, but now they have replaced that. That's a discontinued product. They've replaced it with an LQSE 4S5-D, which is a 5 amp module. So you now get a 10 amp and a 5 amp module option for the switching. So we'll stick for the 10 for this example. What else were we going to go for? We'll go for a Dali module. And a motor module, we might want to add some blinds at some point, so we'll add that as well. So there we go, so there's basically our panel. in our equipment cupboard there. So that's good. That's a 3-phase panel you can see here. So when you're doing your bill of materials, just make sure you select the correct panels here, because at the top under reports, all of the equipment we've used so far, if I click on bill of materials, this is another fantastic thing with this software. It gives you a list of all the equipment that you're going to need on that project. Basically everything that you've specified, all the switches you can see there, these are the actual back plates of switches, and you've got your keypad plates, and there you can see the modules, and of course blanking plates as well for the DIN panel, because we've not used all of the slots in the panel, so it's even accounted for that. Great little resource. We'll look a bit more at that later as well, because there's other things you can view obviously in there. So yeah, so that's basically our equipment. Great. So you'll see on here you have devices. So this is your list of devices that are inside this panel. So we've got outputs. You can see the adaptive module, 0 to 10 module, switching module, and the motor module that we've got in there. We've also got a Dali module. This one here. This one here. That's a Dali module. And those are indicated here. It says Dali 4. So we've got 2 loops of Dali. Dali is generally 64 devices per loop, and 16 circuits, is that right? 16, yeah, 16 circuits per loop. So you've basically got 32 circuits there, or 128 devices you can put on that Dali module. So it's a very flexible module if you're limited for space. Dali is a very good option. So basically that's our equipment in the panel. That's all you really need to get the oh, actually I tell a lie, that's not all you need. You must also add a power supply. So that's the last piece of equipment really you need for a pretty basic installation with Lutron. You need your processor, power supply, your modules, and possibly a wire landing board for your connections, just to make everything look a bit neater. And next, after that, I don't think I touched on this last time, but you need to add your loads, because obviously, let's go back to equipment cupboard, output. We've got nothing connected to any of these circuits, have we? And if I click on assign, there's no circuits to link to these channels. So the next thing we will do is add some loads into our database. The thing to do first really here is also to edit your fixture type. So any of the light fittings that you're going to be using on your project, add them to this list, and it speeds things up a lot. So you might have a downlight, for example, just a standard downlight, which is we'll have an LED Dali downlight. We will have what I tend to do is label that Dali, and then we may have a downlight that is 0 to 10. So we can put that on here, LED 0 to 10. We may have some downlights. That is going to be mains dim. Oh, I've exceeded the maximum here, so we'll just put downlight dim as a list. So they are literally incandescent halogen. They might just be an incandescent halogen lamp, or let's stick with basically everything that you can purchase now is LED. So we'll do LED reverse phase, which is trailing edge LED. Generally GU10 lamps or the best performing lamps or trailing edge. You can also put things here like wattage, so you might have some 10 watt LEDs there. A GU10 might be an 8 watt or something like that. There's varying wattages. What else have we got? We've got a chandelier, haven't we, with our project? So that will just be an incandescent or halogen lamp, so we'll leave that as that is. And we may have some accent lighting. some little pin lighting maybe, so which will be LED. We'll make those 0 to 10. I mean, the chandelier could be 200 watts, so I'll put 200 in there. The accent lighting, just 1 watt, little accent lighting. LED strip could be an option, and we're going to make that Dali, and that could be approximately, I don't know, I mean, you might have 13 watts per meter there, so we'll just put a 13. But there's an example anyway of basically what you would put in your fixtures. You've got a great list here of compatible types of loads here. You've got cold cathodes. Oh, that's true. We've got some blinds as well. So let's add some blinds. So we shall put a motor 3 wire for blinds. So we'll have open stop close for blinds. Oops, don't know why it's done that there. Delete. So this one here, blinds. There we go. And I think that's all we're going to add for now. So anyway, there's an example. You can have contact closure outputs, DMX channels, as you can see there. There's fans, other types of dimming, DSI. Ecosystem, which is Lutron's version of Dali, slightly more flexible in some ways. Just generally normal kind of incandescent halogen switched. Magnetic low voltage, some of the older style toroidal transformer options, and relay. So there we go. I'm going to click. Actually, I probably should just put some garden spike maybe as an option here, just for a switch circuit. So for that we'll just put LED switched. There we go. Okay, so now we've got some fixtures in there, so we can put downlights for our entrance hall. Because we've put all that information in there, we can put fixture, and there'll be 0 to 10 downlights. So see, it fills it all in for you. All the information there is filled in for you. And then we'll have a chandelier. Got our chandelier there, so it fills in what, you know, the load type in there for us, and some accent lighting. Accent LED. There we go. Lounge downlights. Spell that right. Fixture. 0 to 10 downlight. We might have some 5 amp sockets actually. I'll just add those. So 5 amp socket, which is generally could be incandescent halogen. So we'll leave that as that. 5 amp socket. There we go, and it fills it in as incandescent halogen for us. You can give it another description as well here, but I don't tend to really find that's required. I mean, if you're working off a circuit chart, you might have this might be like 10, circuit 10, and this one might be circuit 11 in that room or something maybe, but it's not always, you don't need to fill in all the boxes basically. In the office we just have some downlights. Some problems with my spelling today. These are going to be Dali downlights, just to mix it up a bit there. Dining room, downlights. You get the idea. And we're going to do a pendant, dining pendant, but we'll just use chandelier as our socket. There we go. Kitchen downlights. I mean, you might have things like he's going to be Dali as well. Under cupboard strip. So under cupboard. So that'll be my LED strip that I've got here. In the in the office, actually, we're going to put some blinds as well. We've got some blinds as options, haven't we? There we go. Anyway, so that's ground floor. I'm not going to bother with the first floor for now. We'll just leave it as that. And the next thing we do is we go back to our equipment cupboard, select equipment, and here we can add some of our loads to our devices. So if I select output here, let's add some loads. So it will only offer us, when I click on the when I click on assign, this is the adaptive module I'm looking at, so it's only going to allow me to assign circuits that are actually, that could be controlled by the adaptive module. So I'm going to add an incandescent halogen here. And what else have I got? That's, there we go, incandescent halogen. So general, just halogen lights, pendants, and circuits like that you would use an adaptive module. Okay, so I'll close that down. Then we have 0 to 10 module, so we'll assign some circuits to that. We have our entrance hall downlights, accent downlights. Once again, it's a 0 to 10 module, so it's giving me all the options for 0 to 10. And LED downlights here. Switching module, let's click on that. Assign. Oh, we haven't done any garden lighting yet, have we? So let's just add some loads for garden lighting. Garden spikes. Let's put those spikes in here. Back to equipment. Equipment cupboard. Outputs. Then we'll add our garden spikes. There we go. So we've got garden spikes on that module. We've got a motor module. I think we did allow for, yeah, in the office we've got our blind here, haven't we? So we'll assign that. And for Dali, I don't think we've actually added, we have added some Dali circuits, I think, but that literally is one downlight. So by adding down lights, that's not exactly true. So if we go back to loads, now let's go back into the, there we go, so downlight Dali. So we've got downlights here. This is literally one downlight, so if we wanted to have more than one downlight on that circuit, bearing in mind we've got 16 circuits per loop, 64 ballasts or drivers per loop, you can copy or duplicate the load. So I think duplicate the load, then you select how many lights there are on the space, so you might have 6 in the ceiling there that you all want to switch together. Click OK, and then you'll see, there we go. Oh. No, there you go. You see that they are all part of the same group, so all named the same. Because if I tried to call something else downlights here, it says all zones must have a unique name. So it won't allow me to call something else downlights. To do that, you must duplicate the load. So basically, all of these circuits here. If we go back to equipment, equipment cupboard. Click on Dali, on loop 1 we'll assign, you can see all of these lights here, so if I assign those here, you'll see at the bottom it says zones, Dali for loop 1, 1 of 16 circuits. So all those 8 lights are going to be controlled together from the Dali. If you wanted to add another circuit, which was maybe separately controlled, oh look, we've also got a downlight in the kitchen once again. You might generally have more than one downlight, but this could maybe be on a vase or something like that, so we can add that as a separate circuit. You can see at the bottom here 2 of 16, and then we've got some under cupboard LED as well. Bear in mind this is one driver that we're kind of assigning here. This example here where I've added multiples, that's a driver per light fitting, so that's 8 addresses we've used of our 64, but because they're a group, it's just one circuit, so one zone, what's called a Dali zone in Lutron. So we'll assign our kitchen LED as well, and there we go. So we've got 3 circuits of LED, but we've actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 loads there, but obviously some of them are grouped together. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because I've just seen it's 24 minutes. So please don't forget to subscribe. Click the bell so you get notifications when I do my next uploads, and thank you very much for watching. Hope this has been informative. Now there's going to be obviously a part 3. I'll try and get this part 3 done quicker than the month that it's been since part 1, because I know everyone's quite interested in this Lutron equipment and software. And give me any feedback if you want me to focus on anything in particular, or if there's anything you'd like me to do or have a look at. Okay, have a good day, and I will see you again soon. Thank you very much.